we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, 7.7, solving right triangles. And the new thing that we're going to find for all of these is how to find the angles if we're given the sides. So, for example, on your paper you have sine of A equals 0.24. So you're simply going to do kind of what we did in our warm-up. You're going to go under the trig function. You're going to go inverse. At home, if you're using a calculator, just make sure a lot of times you push the second button and then push it. Or, you know, if you've got the papers that we have with the sine, cosine, tangent on it, you look for the opposite. You look for 0.24. Okay? We get, and it says round to the nearest decimal place, so we're just going to do one decimal. So my answer here, everybody should get 13.9 because we rounded up. If you are having trouble doing this, please let myself or Mr. Van Horsen know so we can fix it. Okay? The next one is tan A equals 1.73. Tan A equals 1.73. So again, I go under the trig, go to the tan with a -1, and push 1.73. And I get 59.9, so I'm going to round up to 60 degrees. Okay? I'm going to pause the recording so I can walk around and help anybody who has it. If you go through and answer all 8. Okay, let's put them up again. For some reason, they're not on. What did we get for A? 13.9. Okay, we're going to try this again. Please raise your hands. Tracy, what did I have for B? 16? 16. Please raise your hand for C. Leja? 51.7. Please raise your hand for D, Tori. 4.6. 4.6? Yeah. Please raise your hand for E. For E, Tracy. 19.9. Leasia, F. 41. Raise your hand for G, Tori. 22.3. 22.3. Does anybody else? Anicia? H. 69.3. Very nice. Okay, so just a calculator thing. Remember, we're using those inverses. Yeah.
0.4. I got 0.4. If you round it.
Oh, it's not 69.3, 69.4?
Yeah, 69.39.
39 would make it 0.4, right? So we're supposed to round it up. Thank you. Okay. All right. Let's look at the examples how to solve all the stuff for a triangle. If you talk while I'm talking, it's going to be an issue. Okay. We're looking right here, and we're going to solve this. We want to find all the angles and all the sides. I'm going to do this a little different than I did second hour. We're going to start with finding the angles. Do I know what angle B is?
No.
Yes. Yes, what is angle B? 90. Okay. 90 degrees, Michael. With that little square right there. Okay. So, Eric, knock it off. All right, so we're going to find angles A and angle C. We're going to do this by using inverse. Stop. So I'm looking at A. Okay. Across from A, we've got 14 and 25. Those are the sides that we're given. Across from A is 14, which is the opposite. And we have the hypotenuse. What trig function, if I'm using again, always SOHCAHTOA, please raise your hand. Which one do I use? Tangent, cosine, or sine? Yes, Dalton.
Tangent.
Tangent has an O and an A next to it. I need an H and an O. Justin?
Okay.
Sine. Good. Nice try. So I've got sine of A equals opposite, which is 14, over hypotenuse, which is 25. Notice that I had O on top and then H because O's first and then H. Okay, so now I can go right to my calculator. I'm going to do the inverse function. So I'm going to go to trig, sign with that -1. 14 divided by 25, or you could find the decimal equivalent first, but I think that's just one more step to do. And I'm going to round to the nearest tenth, so 1 decimal place. So I get 34.1. So A equals 34.1 degrees. Any questions so far? Yes.
I did my wrong.
Okay. So, no, you didn't. We round up 5, makes a 0, 1, 34 degrees. You did it right. Confidence, you did it. 34.1 degrees. All right, now we've only found A. We've got to find C. So I'm going back to C. If somebody wants to raise their hand and tell me what 14 and 25 are to C, I'd appreciate it. Anybody want to try? Tracy? Adjacent, and this stays hypotenuse. Can somebody raise their hand and tell me, do I use sine, cosine, or tangent to find out what C is? Michael, you want to try?
Cosine.
Cosine, because it's adjacent and hypotenuse. Very nice. So the cosine of C equals adjacent. Make sure you put adjacent on top over hypotenuse 25. Now, remember to use the inverse because I don't know what the angle is. When you don't know what the angle is, you use the inverse. So I go to trig, cosine with a -1, 14 divided by 25. And I'm going to get 56 because I round up. C is approximately 56 degrees. Okay, do I have all 3 angles of a triangle? I have A, B, and C. Do I have all 3 sides?
No.
What side am I missing?
AB.
AB. How are we going to figure out an unknown side?
Pythagorean theorem.
Perfect. Pythagorean theorem. We go right back to that Pythagorean theorem, and we're going to find that unknown side. I'm going to make it X. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I've got, what's my C?
X.
Is it X, 14, or 25?
14.
25, because it's always across from the 90 degrees. It has to be the hypotenuse. So I've got X squared plus 14 squared equals 25 squared. Okay, so 14 squared gives me 196. And then I'm going to go 25 squared gives me 625. And then I subtract 196 from each side. So minus 196 gives me 429. So x squared equals 429. Well, I've got to square root it to find the answer. So I take the square root of both sides, and side AB is going to equal what that square root's to, which is 20.7. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I have all 3 angles and all 3 sides. We're going to pause the recording now, and you are going to try the next triangle. All right, so we now need to make sure we have everything down for part B. Okay? So we want to find x first. So we've got adjacent and we've got opposite.
Find Z first.
So x, we go the tan of x equals opposite over adjacent. So x is approximately what when we stick it in our calculator? Yes, Eric?
Oh, I forgot. I didn't do this. Oh, wait. Oh, 0.75.
36.9.
Oh, you said approximately what? Wow.
No, not 3 divided by 4. I want to do the inverse tan. 3 over 4. Okay, so let's look at z. Z, we now have, this is opposite, and this is adjacent. So we've got the tan of z equals 4 over 3, and so z is approximately 53.1. Good.
Can I just write 53?
Yes. No, it says round to one decimal, please. Yes. Okay. So Tracy wants to tell us what the unknown side is, and what is it, Tracy? 5. And we did that by doing Pythagorean theorem or knowing that a Pythagorean triple is 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's turn it over. We're going to do just 2 more in the back. They're all review. Yes.
For the V, how did you get 53.1? I got 52.4.
Yes. Okay, let's look. When I plug it into my calculator, I go trig, tan inverse, and I go 4 divided by 3. Yeah, I get 53.1 as well.
Same here.
That was my
Let's
answer.
try putting it in there again. I don't know why you got something different. Okay, we're going to look at the back. Shh, please stop talking. Okay, so we are going to find all the different pieces of this right triangle. Okay, we're going to solve everything for it. So let's find QR first. Let's find QR. QR is what to 48? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Adjacent. What is 41? Opposite. Okay, we're going to use just those two because we're trying to find QR, and RS is what we're given. So if, again, I like to write soak and toe it down each time. Which one has an A and an O in it? Tan. So this time I'm using the regular tan because I'm looking for my unknown side. Excuse me, opposite over adjacent, and I'm going to call it QR because that's what it's labeled as. Okay, so this is back to what the quiz was on yesterday. Michael, stop. You need to be writing this down. Okay, you can just put X, yes. So I multiply, cross multiply, and I get QR tan 48 equals 41, and I divide, and I get QR equals 41 over tan of 48. This is all review. We've done all of this many times. So we go 41 divided by tan, not inverse tan, regular tan, because I'm looking for a side, not an angle. And I plug in 48, and I get 36.9 is QR. Okay, so I've got QR, but I am still missing QS. What is QS to 48?
42.
Hypotenuse.
42.
Okay, so I'm looking at hypotenuse and opposite. Which one uses hypotenuse and opposite? Sine, cosine, or tangent? S for sine. Sine of 48 equals opposite over hypotenuse, which is QS. I cross multiply. QS sine of 48 equals 41. I divide. Divided by the sine of 48 gives us 55.2. So QS equals 55.2. Last step, I am missing an angle, but I have 2 of those angles.
42
And
degrees.
subtract. How am I going to find it out? How am I going to find the missing angle? Yes.
Add those 2 angles together.
Okay, so I'm going to add 48 plus 90.
And subtract it by 180.
And subtract it from 180. Why 180, Alicia?
Because
The interior angles of a triangle always
equal 180.
There we go, equal 180. So this is, so S equals 42 degrees.
My God.
Michael, I've talked to you about this already. If you have the answer, what do? No, you raise your hand. Come on.
Bad logic.
Okay, let's move on to the last one. I want to make this really clear. If you're not writing down all the notes, it does impair the ability for you to do your homework, and you won't do as well on tests and quizzes.
Okay.
Let's move to our lovely story problem.
What would I do with B?
We're not. And I might have mentioned that a couple